These words we speak are not to trigger anyone, but provoke the thoughts of those with open minds that are not easily offended by curse words you may hear or content discussed to raise awareness on various issues. If you are easily offended and not open to the thoughts of others, this video may not be for you. So please watch at your own discretion. Thank you. And this video is for entertainment purposes only.
In the blue street news on the uprise. It's my town, your town, uptown, downtown, around town with Sharonda has a new day. Around town with Sharonda. It's a new day. It's a new day.
Hey people, you're Around Town with Sharonda, and I'm your host, Sharonda, the laid back one. So to all you laid backers out there, thank you so much for watching. Today we have a very special guest, Timothy X, better known as Vonzell Stimpson, the CEO and the founder of the television show CMP, See My Perspective. Welcome, Vonzell. It's nice to have you, and it's also nice to see you again. Now, when it comes to CMP, what made you come up with See My Perspective?
See my perspective. I did see my perspective, so my opinion would be just on me. It wouldn't be a group opinion. It wouldn't be the neighborhood opinion. It wouldn't be the community opinion. It wouldn't be the church opinion. It would be my family opinion. It would be my neighborhood opinion. It would be my opinion. And my opinion is always going to be raw. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't going to say I shook it down, because if I'm upset and I'm having words with, for instance, former Sheriff B.J. Bonds, only reason I say that because it was public knowledge. But when I had an incident with B.J. Bond, and in that same show I had a disagreement with the people that run Casey Auto up here on Sussman Street. Just after doing one of my programs, this is early on in my career on the TV, I did one program, and after I did that one program with me showing my perspective, this without no profanity, I had Casey Auto take me up for communication threat on public access television. I had B.J. Bond have to defend my comments about his wife, because I told her I got the free Vaseline before no Vaseline or ice cube. And that might have been offensive to some, but it was only 89 cents. But me saying those things offended a sheriff of a current sheriff of the city, a tow company that was riding up and down Sussman Street, from the south side, riding up and down the street, and they going at a normal speed, because the speed limit ain't number 25. It should be 15, but they going 30, 50 miles around it. And they got cars being towed up and down the street. So my problem with both of them was in one show, had me in the front page of the newspaper for communicating threats to a tow company and for comments about the current sheriff's wife. She never picked up those items, but reality is, those were things that led me to doing my perspective, having a voice that we normally would be neglected. So when I saw public access, I got inspired by my grandmother, my siblings, my neighborhood and my grandmother more than anything, because my grandmama always had to deal with all us being a diverse family. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody don't always get along, we always come to the same table. And Spot TV was inspiration to me in there. Troy and Val, I want to give a shout out to Troy and Val. They started a few months before I did, and they were very helpful with CMP Live, Skibo, you know what I'm saying? So it was people that's down there that was over the public access over the years that inspired me. Eric Chin, you know what I'm saying? Tia May, former sheriff. Just a lot of people helping me with my program, which really inspired me. But I think about some of the former people that's not down there that passed away, like Mike Coleman. I want to say rest in peace to Mike Coleman. He was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And, Tim May, like I said, he's a former sheriff. See, one thing about public assets, what they don't put into perspective is, public assets really is the true meaning of diversity television. Because public assets mean I don't have to like your church and you don't have to like my mom. I don't have to like your boutique and you don't have to like my barbershop. But when you're dealing with everybody being a public forum, we used to have all the producers come down there. We would have drawings to pick out what time the time slot's going to be. It was always something good to see. Because everybody had different shows. But one thing about CMP Lab, I helped change the time slot. Before my show came on, you could have profanity at 10 o'clock at night. Then they moved it to 11 after two of my programs. Then after one program at 11, they moved it to 12. Then you know, it was 1 o'clock in the morning before you could see programming. They had profanity, which I thought was ludicrous because we live in a world where profanity is accepted and racism not accepted. But now we're in a time where racism is accepted and profanity is still offensive. Now, I'd rather be cursed out than arrested based on the color of my skin. See what I mean? See, I don't mind you having an opinion because you don't like color folk. I feel the same way about your mama. But with that being said, I like everybody that like me. You know what I'm saying? So don't go off board when you thinking you're going to say anything to Timothy. If you're an officer, you have to pull one of me over. You ask your co-workers right here in Guilty County.
Are you going to bring your show back?
I'm thinking about bringing the show back. There's so much going on with the death of my daughter. Just lost another little cousin, Q, and Stimpson, and I lost Aunt Jessie. So there's a lot of family members that's gone in the last 9-10 months. That was my daughter. And with Vonzell gone, that just ain't had the inspiration. I ain't had the inspiration to date. Just losing a child just changed your whole life in so many ways that I ain't had the inspiration to do a lot of things right now. A lot of things on my mind is built up. I know I gotta let that out and relax before I explode. Cause at the end of the day, where everybody tripping about losing voting rights and your affordable care, and you losing your health care, you know, losing so many things that are being taken away from you. That we walk around here like we are blessed. Good afternoon. A little something about me. Father of 5 beautiful daughters. Recently lost one September 19th, 2024. And her name was Vonzell Stimpson. My queen, which all of them are queens to me. Amber Lynn Keck, my oldest. My second oldest. Jasmine Renee Harris, my third oldest. Simone Michelle Cotton, my baby girl, Chloe Alana Lawson, and my baby that passed, Vonzell Stimpson, was my only child that carried my last name. All of them carried my DNA, but the only one that carried my last name. And what else about me? Currently a manager at a laundromat, so anybody need a job, holler at the home team. You will be working on the weekends. But a lot of people have inquired about it, but I ain't been able to move them in there just yet. But in July, if you need a job, all I need laundry man, less than 20 hours a week, but it's something. Something beats nothing. And it's a simple job, you know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is be polite, share some common courtesies, or whatnot. If you don't like laundry man that can't work in the neighborhood, we can send you way on out in the neighborhood and look at my other job. Have it your way, Biscuitville, where you can see someone making a biscuit for you first thing in the morning. And you can actually have that biscuit made with flour and dough and put on a pan, and you can wait the whole 25 minutes and get you a biscuit where you seen handmade at Biscuitville. But this ain't a Biscuitville commercial. We're just talking about me. Those are my 2 jobs with the current check stubs. And my status right now, I'm a single black man, so holla. And second, recently divorced. Well, not recently divorced. It's been about 5-6 years, but I guess you still seem kind of close when you care for somebody that just didn't work out. I can't sit over here and talk bad about it, because I'm the one that said I do. But I didn't get to hear the song by my homeboy Andre 3000 and Bun B, Pimp C. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it! But I did it, so no hard feelings on there. Would have been my 10th anniversary coming up in October, but that ain't popping off. So you know my status right now, and my hobbies. My hobbies is like I like to read books. I like to collect books. I like to collect DVDs. I like to laugh. I like to crack jokes. I like to travel. And I like to need companionship. It ain't happening no time soon, but I got a lot of things going on, so it's been a lot of MOB with me lately, and that's where I'm at.
How did you get into television?
I got into television. That's a good question. I got into television back in, I want to say about 1990. But as far as the television access here in Guilford County, I started the public access in October 07. Cause yes, about 97. I started February 97. Cause it was the month before B.I.G. passed, Christopher Wallace.
Now, what inspired you to have your own show?
What inspired me to have my own show? Being able to show our perspective on the south side of Guilford County, this Hampton Homes area, Smith Home, Parkside, St. James, and show them how we maneuver around here and some of the things that we had, because we all center around the greatest community center in the world, Warnersville Community Center, the first historical black neighborhood in Greensboro, North Carolina, Guilford County, and Warnersville was the creation of a lot of inspiration for me, because just being in the Warnersville area was inspiration, and coming from a big family was inspiration. My head inspiration was my grandmother, Dorothy Mae Stimpson, and my mother, Dorothy Mae Ford. So that's my grandmother and my mother, different last names, same name, but with her 7 siblings and my aunts and uncles and everybody being a mixture of the things I developed and seen. My mother knew when I was coming up that I wasn't going to be into that Christopher Columbus, discovered America, and all that, but my mama knew one other thing that she really wanted me to know. She made sure I had the fresh comic books. I didn't just collect the comic books to look at the pictures. I could spell Spider-Man. I can spell Wonder Woman. And more importantly, I can perform like a Black Panther. So when I say reading is fundamental, that is something that can never be taken away from you. I want everybody out here, as far as the inspiration, don't just look at me learning from my grandmother, my mother, my uncles and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got my grandmother had four sons. And at William Lee Stimpson, military, U.S. Army, he was a general. If they can change the status of the colored folks for their programs, my uncle, William Lee Stimpson, for the United States Army, he's been classified as a general. My father, Vonzell Stimpson, general. You know what I'm saying? My daughter that fought over there in that Iraq War in 2011, she's been moved up to Corporal Queen. You know what I mean? We changed our titles to what we want to be called. We don't have to get no clarification that I can't be called a doctor because I don't got the paperwork. You can become the president with lack of paperwork. So anyway, that's what we're doing for inspiration. Making sure your children read the inspiration that you put in front of them in their books and their mindset. I see this lady right here with all these diplomas and degrees. See, they didn't care about diplomas and degrees until that one race of people started getting more than any other race. That was the black woman. Now they got more diplomas and degrees and masters than any other form of race on the planet. And that's a true fact. So with that being said, it ain't as important to get your master's and degrees because the black women have them And guess that's the reason I got 5 daughters. I had 5 daughters because they strive to get those educational opportunities once offered on no DEI. We don't want no advanced treatment or no special treatment. We want to be on our merits, our education, our mindsets. And that's why we know we're going to achieve. So we done been through everything and still winning.
What do you see differently in the community today versus what you saw and experienced as you grew up?
Another good question. I would say coming up, we had more opportunity at Wandersville. We had a bicycle club. Even in school, the middle school, which they call OP, and we didn't look at it because we just put the OP on it right there. But the OP was the optional school where you can go to school from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. You could take one of your classes over there if you was failing at Dudley, Grimsley, or Page, or even excelling at Ben L. Smith like I was. But when you struggled on any class, they would send all of the misfits or somebody was having trouble with one particular class over there to Gillespie. But at that school, now that I'm older than I think back then, this was the mid-80s, 85, 86. We had culinary, cosmetology, photography. This is right there at Gillespie. Auto mechanics, welding, everything they got at community college was there. We also had a daycare that somebody could be in school with their child. You was a young woman and you was between the ages of 15 and I think 24. You could go to the high school and someone would watch your child while you went and took your class. We don't have those things in school. Those are just some of the things right here. We also, as far as the youth things that weren't away from school when I was younger, we had going on. It was like we could go to the depot, youth parties every weekend. We could go to the skate station, you know, on High Point Road. And there's the auto zone. But anyway, those were some of the things that we had in the early 80s, as opposed to in the 90s. Now, instead of everybody going to the park to play basketball or play football in the park, everybody now currently picking up their phone, coming to family function with everybody on the phone so nobody talking. Nobody communicating with the phone being spoken and all that in the presence of everybody at the house. So in that era from our era, I think the electronics has took over this area right here. Because they're teaching them good games to play on their phone, but they ain't teaching nothing about education or no traits. And those traits that I mentioned in my childhood was so much different because by the 90s, they took all them out and moved them over to community college into the 2000s. So they can get paid off of it instead of just sending kids there to take those courses for free by being at the high school level. They took them out and changed the curriculum to you have to pay for these classes that you take at these community colleges. But the difference is this youth in the 2025, they in electronics and guns. We was in the hands, bicycles, basketball, girls, track, going to all the different high school games. Even if you didn't go to a high school game, which I didn't go to Page and Grimsley, I still went to the game because it was a rivalry game and it was usually going to be lit. And if I didn't get to go to the Dudley track meet, if they weren't playing Smith, I wouldn't have went, but if they playing Smith, we there. But reality of it is, with all these talent in the city and the state in this year era right here, 2025, with the Smith High School winning in basketball state championship, really winning the state championship in football, and Dudley winning the championship in track, it lets you know that I was a great guy because at Smith, I got a daughter graduated in 2005, Amber Lynn, PLC, but we reclassified her military status. She's a general. Better yet, she's a corporal queen. You know what I mean? Smith High School graduate, Grimsley High School graduate, Vonzell Stimpson, 2024. And then, of course, Dudley graduate, Jasmine Renee Harris. So all three of my 4 daughters have graduated from 3 of the popular schools here in Greensboro, as well as Northeast, and then I have a daughter graduated in Pennsylvania. The reason I show that expectancy is because we got electronics and guns and artificial intelligence taking over the world with fascism and racism entwined in it. And then we go back to the 80s, when you're talking about my childhood, where we had some of the things they had in, but we had more hands and we had more opportunity for the kids to go out there and enjoy themselves. Now you can't go to a crowded event because you have a shooting like this yesterday, 4th of July, 2025. So the difference is outdoor activity and fun and friends perspective versus you can be a thug or a gangster and change your whole image on Facebook without never leaving the house. So it's a difference.
Now, I know that you are heavily into politics, and many people stay away from this subject, but I'm going to go with it because of your show with CMP, See My Perspective, and things of that nature. Explain to us about your show and what happened, and do you plan on coming back?
Okay, well, first question on the politics. The politics is taboo right now because the Negroes running around here on eggshells. We do got Gestapo running around here grabbing people up with masks on, not identifying themselves. You thought it was bad now when the cop pull you out the car and not identify yourself. Imagine when you got some sons of critters putting hands on you and ain't identified themselves. So that being said, Desmond got more 1968 outlook, because I'm born in 68, so we just looking at 2025, 1968 similarities. We got politicians being murdered, like up in Minnesota, with some targeted attacks. And whether you're Republican or Democrat, I'm not against or I'm not for hurting a politician that don't agree with you. Like when y'all watch this show, some of y'all ain't gonna agree with me. You know what I'm saying? My mom ain't no immigrant. My wife ain't no immigrant. Then again, I ain't your president. Get it? Somebody went past some of y'all, but the reality of it is, some people can have all the violations, all the flaws, and still get turned over where they become the shining star. Because in this society, the truth normally would set you free, but now the truth can be slanted because we're in a society where we got to be dumbed down so we don't offend the dumb-minded. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to be from America, but you can't have a negative thought against Israel. Israel, some over across another country over here, violating all kind of violations. So they lost some people. All told, they lost 1,200 people on a horrific situation about 3 years ago. And that was horrific. Somebody came on y'all and took out them. But after losing 1,200 people to some terrorists at Hamas, you come back and kill 500,000 people for 1,200. And I ain't gonna say eye for eye, tooth for tooth, because I feel that same way too, in a sense, when they're married on. I don't have that weaponry where I can have a plane fly over my enemy or my op and take out a whole school, a whole society of people. I put a blockade in place where these people that violated my child can't eat. I guess if I could do that and have that power like Israel and that camaraderie with America that helps Israel regardless of right or wrong, where we in the society where before November, whether you voted for Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Washington, Kennedy, any of them niggas, at the end of the day, you watching this program right now have the right to have an opinion, your voice heard. See, no matter who becomes the president, no matter whether it's the Lion King, the Lion Queen, that don't mean you're not American for voicing your opinion, for voicing your opinion about world matters. Everybody out there watching this program got the right to voice your opinions about world matters. So I don't know how long I got, but I know if I'm right here and I'm talking right here, you got Trump, you got Obama right here, you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you an honest answer. Do you trust Donald Trump, Timothy? Let me say, I trust Donald Trump. I trust Donald Trump to do the things that he always wanted to do. How that sound to you? If Donald Trump think that a black man like Timothy needs to look at his son's shoes when they walk in a building like I'm submissive, I'm not that guy. If you assume that I'm not American because I don't salute the flag, I kneel when the flag being played, That ain't me. For one, I'm not saluting the flag because I'm not in the military. And then when you say play the flag they say so honor the flag. If we honor the flag so much, why do we got swim trunks made out of the flag, bras made out of the flag, toilet tissue made out of the flag, tablecloths made out of the flag, t-shirts, pants, shoes, socks? Which is offensive and which is not? Is it when somebody black like a Colin Kirkpatrick kneel and start a trend where then he's an enemy of the country because he didn't do that? Or do you agree, is it an enemy when you come into the White House, you say we can't have end racism in the end zone. We can't have love thy neighbor in the end zone right now. We don't want Caucasians to feel uneasy by seeing images of their ancestors doing violations across this world. Not just here in America, across this world. So the violations they do is okay as long as only them correcting or commenting about it. But when somebody black like with Puff Daddy, the nigga guilty in some people's minds. But you can't just use that like that right here. Like the word N-word could be offensive to some of y'all watching today too. I get that. Hopefully this is on Facebook where it ain't going to be there because I ain't going to threaten nobody. I'm not going to send it. But when you share opinion, and it don't have to be with profanity, it can be an opinion about the truth. So if I'm speaking on the truth, let me start with the truth. The truth is this, and this is very simple. We can't ask for acceptance from somebody that never wanted to accept us in the first place. So when you want to be that first person to win that Oscar, that first person to win that Emmy, that first person to win that Tony, that Grammy, you know what I'm saying? The first Negro in class, the first Negro to graduate from your school or your family, the first Negro to go up in the air like Ronald McNair, the first Negro to have his name put on a ship, the first black president, Barack Obama. No matter what title they give us, they're going to try and delete it and dilute it. They're not going to put us on no pedestal where if they can't bring it down, where you under the surface. You know what I'm saying? So we got millionaires walking around America, but the millionaires walking around America ain't buying no land. They ain't buying no community. They ain't buying somewhere. You can buy enough land. If I got some money right now, I get 20 acres of land, and I build some house around there where it just be me and my family. We can get the house started with solar energy, so it only be no electricity from the city. The only thing we might get from the city be water. And once we get us a water well, we won't even need them. My point being, with the politics of America, your opinions matter. Your voice matters. Don't never be on the sideline and let some of these atrocities going around here right now. No civil rights, no human rights. I never knew what civil rights and human rights meant, because in America, they don't ask you for ID. They can ask you for ID, but you can't ask them for ID. They can record you, but they don't want you to record them. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I have a conversation with any officer, if you the police right now, you look at this officer, this is me right now. And I come up here and hand you my ID. You ask me for my ID, I'm my ID. Can I ask what this is about, officer? In a minute. Can I get your name, officer? Now you got my ID. Can I get your name? The moment he say, not right now, the whole conversation changed. Well, let me help y'all, officer. There go the ID. I don't sleep with white whores. I don't know your mama. If you got a badge on and you're black, I don't sleep with black tricks and you got a badge on. Because anybody that's asking you for ID must identify themselves. They don't identify yourself, I'll automatically, just me. I don't speak for nobody black. I'm not O.J. Simpson. I'm not somebody that's going to be built up with a new Puff Daddy. I'm just that Negro that anybody that's in violation in my personal space that's disrespectful, and I don't just save my energy for the little local neighborhood gangbangers and flunkies. I let you know that in any race or creed or color, if you got the intention to sit up here and not want to identify yourself, whether you the Guilty County Police, New York Police, Florida Police, or whoever, the moment I hand you my ID, here's my ID, sir, and you come back with, where you coming from? I don't know your mom again. Excuse me, sir. Here's my ID. If you pulling me over for a tag or whatever, something to do with this car, let's keep it on there. Ask me where I'm coming from, where I'm going. I'll repeat. I ain't sleeping with Stormy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sleeping with Monica Lewinsky. But with that being said, don't let my politics fool you. I'm like this with any conversation I have in America, because you can't have them doing violations. I know when I do my violations, I'm all on the front news.
Now, tell us what happened with CMP, your show, See My Perspective.
Apologize for the politics. I get animated about politics because I'm seeing the world go sideways when you take away democracy and you take away the free speech and you take away the free thought and the free expression of self. My show, CMP Live, started back when we still was having drama with the George Bush son. You might have seen my newspaper article where they got me on the front page when George Bush Sr. came in. Bush protesters confronted Bush, something like that right there. They got my homeboys surrounded with big guns and everything. This is way on back in the early 2000s. But even back then, whether it's George Bush, Obama, Trump, Chump, whoever, no man deserves to be called in a higher light or a higher perspective when they don't share that same quality back. I'm not against y'all President Trump. I'm not against President Obama. I'm not against President Bush. But when they do violations, they got to be called out for it. Dropping a bomb on a country that ain't did nothing with us. You know what I'm saying? You just boom. Don't get back on the TV, but that's something to think about. And what if somebody did that over here because we don't like whoever in charge? But back to my thing, like I said, I started in the early 90s, my program. When I went on CMP Live, I started in 1997. I remember because it was like a month before B.I.G. died. And I'm a big Tupac fan, so I was already pushing that narrative too. But when that happened, I got on the TV and I put it into perspective to have all the beasts trying to squash, because you know what I'm saying, now the Biggie died and Pac died was two different elements of that. So when I started my program, we had in the South Side, we had a lot of events going on in our community with the block parties and everything. But we didn't have nothing really going on to that point where we could highlight what we was going on. Every neighborhood has parties and stuff. But I always know if you ever came to Greensboro, North Carolina, you know the South Side is the heart of the city. So if you got the heart of the city here, you're going to have everybody coming to your area, which we done it. So when I started my program, it was like, man, how can I show my program like that without it being corny? I ain't not sitting in your hall. I ain't got no damn suits. I ain't coming out here with no catchy phrase like Wendy Williams. How you doing? I ain't have none of that. But what I did have was that raw footage and that raw camera where Butcher come to the liquor house, Butcher go in the Grove, Butcher go in Claremont, Butcher go to Winston, Butcher go to Durham, Butcher go to Atlanta, Butcher go to Las Vegas, Butcher go to New York, Butcher go to Gina, Louisiana. So those were the type of things. When I went to Gina, Louisiana, it was 6 guys that jumped on a white guy, pulled a gun on. They took the gun from the guy and beat him up. They charged the guys with beating him up and not charged to go up and putting the gun out on the kids. So there was some straight up racism back then. So it's just like right now, but I'm sure it's even worse back then. And hopefully those kids that was in the Gina 6 all moved out to Gina, Louisiana. But the reality of it is, we as a group got me involved with the See My Respect. My See My Respect was just to show that if you get all the neighborhoods together and we show what we got going on the South Side, you're going to love it. That's why I didn't have no problem showing our youth football at Warnersville Community Center, showing our games at Windsor, Pillar Center, showing our block parties, house parties, cookout, fun, and which all being showed. You got to see love in a true sense of why it need to be recorded. So I knew they weren't going to highlight the Warnersville winning the championship, but when we beat Lewis, our clip be less than the 5-second commercial to say, have your burger today. Anyway, with all that being said, we're done.
This concludes part 1 of Around Town with Sharonda with special guest Timothy X, better known as Vonzell Stimpson. Stay tuned and thank you for watching.